Disney buried a Star Wars series that would have changed everything. A show called Rangers of the New Republic, fully greenlit, publicly announced, built into the architecture of the entire Mandalorian universe. And the reason it vanished without a cancellation notice, without a press release, without a single official word, is something they calculated you would never think to ask about. You were never supposed to realize it was gone. Here is the loop they never closed. The show didn't die in development. It died after the cameras were ready. And the real reason they buried it goes deeper than the controversy every fan site reported. It goes into a single calculated decision that cost them a franchise. On December 10, 2020, Disney held what they called Investor Day, a staged presentation to shareholders designed to make the company's future look inevitable. That day, they announced 10 new Star Wars projects at once. 10. The room was built around The Mandalorian's explosive success, and executives wanted to demonstrate to Wall Street that they could replicate it on demand. One of those 10 announcements was Rangers of the New Republic, described as a companion series running parallel to The Mandalorian's timeline. It would follow Cara Dune, a former rebel shock trooper played by Gina Carano, as she helped rebuild New Republic law enforcement across the Outer Rim. Dave Filoni, who has shaped Star Wars storytelling for nearly 2 decades, was attached. Jon Favreau was producing. This was not a pitch. It was the announcement of a live production. The deal was signed. The writer's room was active. Cara Dune had already appeared across 2 full seasons of The Mandalorian, and her arc was deliberately engineered to funnel audience investment into this spin-off. That is not speculation. That is how streaming architecture works. You build affinity for a character in the anchor series, then hand them their own show. Disney had done exactly that math. The series was projected to premiere in 2022, threaded alongside the Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka. Trade publications reported, and then quietly deleted early signs of pre-production movement. Rangers of the New Republic was not a concept. It was a production in motion. Then, on February 10, 2021, 62 days after the Investor Day announcement, Gina Carano was terminated by Lucasfilm, and Rangers of the New Republic disappeared from every public roadmap at once. Remember that greenlit series Lucasfilm announced to investors? Here is where it died. Carano was fired following social media posts that Lucasfilm deemed unacceptable, and the public conversation moved immediately to the controversy itself. That is exactly where Disney needed attention to stay. Because as long as the story was about what she posted, nobody was asking the structural question underneath it. What happens to a series built entirely around one actor when that actor is fired 2 months after the announcement? Disney never canceled Rangers of the New Republic. No press release, no statement, no rescheduled premiere. A greenlit Star Wars series ceased to exist in any official communication. The company said nothing. Here is the part they really buried, and this is the pattern interrupt, because Rangers of the New Republic was not killed by failure. It was killed by the cost of admitting one. If Disney issued a formal cancellation on record, they would have to explain to shareholders why an investment they had publicly committed to 62 days earlier was now null. A cancellation becomes a liability conversation. It becomes analysts asking whether the entire 10-project slate was overcorrection. It becomes questions about whether a single casting controversy can crater a streaming IP before a single episode airs. So Disney chose a third option: silence. The series entered what the industry calls turnaround, meaning the project is neither active nor officially dead. It simply stops being discussed. No writer speaks about it publicly. No executive references it. No fan site gets a clean no. In turnaround, a project can sit for years or it can sit forever. Rangers of the New Republic has now sat in that void for over 4 years. No movement, no recast announcement, no acknowledgement that the show Lucasfilm announced to investors still exists in any form. You were never supposed to notice the absence of a cancellation. You were supposed to forget the show was ever real. What we lost is harder to quantify than a single series. Rangers of the New Republic was designed to anchor an interconnected storyline threading through at least 3 other shows. Without it, the connective tissue Dave Filoni spent 2 careful seasons of The Mandalorian constructing has never resolved. Cara Dune's character arc, built with deliberate care across 16 episodes, ends mid-sentence. A character introduced to millions of viewers simply stops existing, with no ending, no explanation, and no closure. The Mandalorian universe has a structural hole where this series was supposed to be. That hole is still there. The question no Disney executive will answer on record: is Rangers of the New Republic still sitting in turnaround, or has a version been quietly greenlit without a public announcement? Because there is another studio with a buried property they have spent years pretending never existed. And that story is considerably messier.